I killed my mother with my bare hands last Tuesday. And the funny thing is, she deserved every second of it, hell. She begged for it in the end, her voice cracking like dry leaves under my boots. But let's rewind, because this isn't about the blood, it's about the swap. The cosmic fuck you that turned me from the forgotten kid at the pump into the monster staring back from her vanity mirror. You see, 3 days before I wrapped my fingers around her throat, I woke up in her skin, 62 years old, Botox smooth and Chanel scented, while she blinked out at the world through my 34-year-old eyes. My body, my life she'd stolen long before the science caught up. It started 26 years ago, on a sticky July evening in rural Ohio. The kind where the air hangs heavy with cicada screams and the promise of thunder. I was 8.
Elena Ramirez.
The quiet one. The kid who whispered answers in class and hid behind library shelves because loud voices felt like swallowing glass. My parents, Victor and Lydia Hale, the golden couple of Milford, Ohio, had dragged me on a family road trip from Cleveland to some podunk county fair. Their way of pretending we were normal after Dad's latest promotion at Hale Tech, the biotech startup he co-founded with a bunch of Ivy League sharks. Mom was already the queen bee, socialite extraordinaire, chairing fundraisers for the local hospital while Dad tinkered with revolutionary neural interfaces in his basement lab. They were the Hales, white picket fence, 2-car garage, and me, the adopted brown girl from the foster system, a project they picked up when I was 4 to round out their progressive image. We pulled into that Exxon off I-71 around 7. The sun dipping low like a bruised peach. Dad was chain-smoking Camels, arguing with Mom about whether to deter for ribs or hit the fair early. I sat in the back, knees to chest, sketching stick-figure families in my notebook because real ones made my stomach twist. Elena.
Honey.
Want a Slurpee? Mom called over her shoulder, her voice all honeyed Midwestern lilt. But I mumbled,
No.
Thanks, too soft. Buried in the hum of the AC. They didn't hear. Or maybe they did. And that's why they drove off without me. 15 minutes. That's how long I stood there, thumb out like some pint-sized hitchhiker, watching taillights fade into the haze. The gas station clerk, a grizzled vet named Earl with a "Don't Tread on Me" tattoo peeking from his sleeve, finally noticed. Kid, you lost. I nodded, throat too tight for words, pointing at the empty lot where our blue Ford Explorer had been. He called the cops, who called my parents, who showed up 2 hours later, 2 goddamn hours, tires screeching like they were auditioning for a cop show. Mom tumbled out first, all dramatic gasps and fake tears, pulling me into a hug that smelled like Chanel No. 5 and bourbon.
Oh. Elena.
We thought you ran away. Why didn't you yell? Speak up. For God's sake. Dad loomed behind, face red as the neon, open 24/7 sign, muttering about irresponsible kids while handing Earl a 20 for the trouble. They blamed me the whole ride home, me, for not screaming loud enough, for being too damn shy, as if abandonment was a volume issue. We called your name 3 times, Mom insisted, dabbing her eyes with a silk handkerchief. You have to project.
Elena.
The world doesn't wait for whispers. I stared out the window at the cornfields blurring by, clutching my stuffed rabbit, Mr. Whiskers, and wondered if they even checked the back seat. Deep down, I knew this was practice. For the bigger leavings. That night, tucked into my canopy bed with its frilly pink curtains Mom picked because every girl needs princess vibes, I overheard them in the kitchen. Door cracked just enough for the words to slither through like smoke. She's defective.
Big, mommies.
Clinking ice in her tumbler. That foster system's trash. We should have stuck with our own. Dad's laugh was low.
Bitter.
Give it time. The neural trials might fix her, boost the confidence circuits. If not, we pivot. Hailtucka's future doesn't need dead weight. Neural trials? I was 8. But I knew enough from eavesdropping on Dad's late-night calls. He wasn't just building gadgets, he was playing God with brains, swapping signals, rewriting personalities. And I was the guinea pig. The next morning, they acted like nothing happened. Pancakes with smiley faces. Dad ruffling my hair. Mom enrolling me in voice projection classes at the community center.
But the seed was planted.
I started noticing the absences. Dad's business trips that left Mom glassy-eyed and chain-texting mystery numbers. Mom's charity galas where she'd vanish till dawn. Coming home with lipstick smears that weren't Dad's shade. By 12, I hacked Dad's laptop. Thank you. Public library computers and a kid's endless boredom, and found the files. Encrypted folders labeled Project Echo, Neural Transference Protocols. Schematics for body swaps. Not sci-fi bullshit, but real, mapping consciousness via neural webs. Tested on rats. Then primates.
Then
Volunteers. And there, buried in a subfolder called Family Contingencies, was my name.
Elena Hale, adopted.
Profile: high empathy, low assertiveness. Recommended for recipient mapping. Recipient? I dug deeper. Heart hammering like a jackrabbit. The contingency: if Hailtech hit a wall, funding cuts. FDA scrutiny: Dad and Mom would transfer into healthier, younger vessels. Vessels like me. Their own daughter. Engineered to be the perfect blank slate. The gas station?
A test.
See if I'd break. If I'd toughen up or stay soft enough to overwrite. I confronted them at 14, during one of those forced family dinners where the steak was overcooked and the wine flowed too freely. I know about Echo, I said, voice steady for once. Sliding printouts across the oak table. Mom's fork clattered. Dad's face went the color of ash. What the hell is this? He barked. But his eyes, those cold blue chips, betrayed him. They denied it at first. Gaslighting like pros. You're imagining things?
Sweetie.
Too many scary stories. But I had backups on a USB hidden in my sock drawer. By dessert, Mom was sobbing apologies. Dad pacing like a caged wolf. It's for the family.
Elena.
To protect our legacy. You're part of us now, blood or not.
Protect?
They meant preserve. The betrayal sank in like Ohio clay after rain. I wasn't their daughter. I was their escape hatch. The crime they'd pin on me? Embezzlement from Hailtech. Falsified logs showing I'd siphoned funds for personal gain. A setup so airtight it'd land me 20 to life, while they ghosted into new lives. New bodies. The secret? Mom's affair with Dad's partner.
Dr.
Harlan Voss. The real brains behind Echo. They'd killed him 2 years prior, staged overdose, to cover the affair and steal his patents. I took the fall in their script, the troubled adoptee who snapped. I ran that night. Packed a duffel. Hot-wired the neighbor's Chevy, perks of small-town boredom. And headed west. Denver first. Waitressing at diners. Crashing on couches. By 20, I was Elena Voss, ironic, right? Freelance coder in Silicon Valley knockoffs. Scraping by on bug bounties and black market neural hacks I taught myself from leaked Hailtech docs. I built walls, no attachments. No trust. Men came and went like bad weather. Friends were liabilities. But the rage? It simmered. A pot on low boil, waiting for the whistle. 26 years after the gas station.
It blew.
Hale Tech had gone public. Dad CEO. Mom the glamorous widow. He'd died in a lab accident 5 years back. Another cover.
Echo was real now.
Black market body swaps for the elite. Billionaires dodging death. Politicians erasing scandals. Price tag. 8 figures. Plus your soul. I got the invite by accident, hacking their client list for leverage. My IP bounced through proxies. Rejuvenation seminar. Palm Springs.
CA.
RSVP as potential vessel. I went. Not as bait, but as Elena, the quiet girl grown teeth. The seminar was a circus. Botoxed fossils in linen suits. Eyeing candidates like me. The diverse pretty young things lured with free spa days. Mom, Lydia Hale, 58 but looking 40, spotted me across the infinity pool.
Elena?
Is that? Her voice. That same lilt, but laced with Botox freeze. I smiled. Thin as a razor. Long time.
Mom.
Miss me? We talked that night. Over Rose in her suite overlooking the desert. She played the penitent. We were monsters. Darling. But we've changed. Your father's gone. It's just me now. Let me make it right.
Lies.
All of it. I knew about Voss, her lover. My almost stepdad, because I'd found his grave. Unmarked in Ohio Potter's field. She'd poisoned him slow. Arsenic in his scotch. To keep Echo for herself. And the twist? She'd already swapped once. Into a 25-year-old intern named Claire. But it glitched. Partial transfer. Leaving her in limbo. Aging unevenly. By dawn. She'd pitched it. Join us. Be the bridge. Hale Tech needs a new face, you.
Elena.
We'll erase the past. I laughed. The sound echoing off Coachella Valley hills. Erase? Like you erased me? That's when I slipped the vial into her drink. My own brew. Reverse engineered from echo leaks. A neural disruptor. Forcing a full swap on contact. She convulsed. Eyes rolling. And then.
Click.
Lights out. I woke in her body. Silk sheets tangled around legs that weren't mine. Heavy. Veined.
Foreign.
Across the room. In my reflections shell. She stirred.
What? Elena?
Her voice from my lips. Hoarse with panic. Mine from hers. Smooth. Commanding. Welcome home.
Mom.
Your turn to whisper. The swap hit like a freight train through Kansas flatlands, disorienting. Invasive. Every nerve firing wrong. I flexed fingers that had signed million-dollar deals. Felt the weight of breasts sagging under La Perla lace. Smelled the lavender lotion clinging to skin I'd once scrubbed raw in motel showers. In the mirror, Lydia Hale stared back. Sharp cheekbones. Silver-streaked bob. Eyes like shattered emeralds, my eyes. But colder. Entitled. She me. Lurched up from the chaise. My tattooed arms flailing. Voice cracking in that familiar whisper. This isn't funny. Elena. Fix it.
Now.
I crossed the suite in her Louboutins, wobbling like a newborn foal, and grabbed her my chin, forcing those stolen eyes to meet mine.
Fix?
Like you fixed Dad? Or Voss? Her pupils dilated. The secret spilling before she could damn it. Yeah. I dropped Voss's name like a grenade. The grave digging paid off. How did you? She stammered. But I cut her off, voice booming from her vocal cords. Trained for boardrooms. I know everything. Lydia. The affair. The poison. The way you framed me in your little contingency plan. But here's the new deal. You confess.
Publicly.
Or I walk your empire off a cliff. She laughed then, a brittle sound from my throat. And for a second, I saw the viper uncoiling, the woman who'd charmed senators. Buried bodies, built Hailtech on stolen dreams. Confess? To what? Darling?
À lab accident?
Harlan was unstable, everyone knows.
Lie.
Voss's autopsy, leaked to me by a disgruntled ex-employee, showed trace arsenic. But she didn't know I'd burned that bridge. Instead, she lunged, my body strong, gym toned from CrossFit and kale smoothies, and we grappled. Silk tearing, lamps shattering. She was me, but clumsier, unpracticed in this shell's wiry grace. I pinned her, her pearls, my pearls now, digging into my palm. One call, I hissed, and your board hears about Echo's dirty origins. Truce came with room service, eggs Benedict and black coffee. The desert sun clawing through blinds. We sat across the Carrara marble vanity, strangers in stolen skins, plotting like thieves dividing loot. She needed time, neural stabilizers to prevent rejection, stored in Hailtech's secure vault in Phoenix. I needed access, her biometrics, her codes, her life. Why now? She asked, picking at avocado toast with my fingers. After all this time, I leaned in, her reflection mocking me. Because the quiet girl grew up. And quiet girls remember. The drive to Phoenix was a masterclass in identity theft. I slipped into her Mercedes G-Wagon, key fob syncing to her, my pulse now, the engine purring like a contented cat. She rode shotgun in my beat-up Prius, tailing behind, seething in silence. Billboards blurred by. Hailtech. Tomorrow's you. Today. Irony tasted like bile. We hit the outskirts by noon. Heat waves dancing off blacktop. Cacti standing sentinel like silent witnesses. The facility loomed, glass fortress amid saguaros. Guards with AR-15s and earpieces. Drones humming overhead. Smile for the cameras, I murmured, flashing her platinum Amex at the gate. Retinal scan green. Voice print. Lydia Hale. Authorization Alpha 7. Doors hissed open. Inside. It was sterile apocalypse, white corridors echoing with server hums. Labs glowing blue from cryotanks. Techs in hazmat suits nodded deferentially. I was the queen now. She trailed, my body drawing side eyes, tattoos peeking from collar, scuffed boots on marble. New intern, one whispered. I shot back. Personal assistant. Questions? They scattered. The vault was sublevel 3. Biometric vault behind blast doors. Her palm, my palm, pressed the plate. It whirred. Iris blooming. Inside, vials like frozen lightning. Labeled Stabilentex. Neural anchor. I palmed 2. 1 for each of us. But pocketed a third, my ace. A full disruptor dose. Back topside. In her corner office overlooking the sprawl, the Real negotiation kicked off. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed Phoenix's haze. A kingdom she'd clawed from Voss's corpse. Sign it, I said, sliding over the confession draft I'd typed on her laptop. Details of the murder. The frame job. Echo's illegal trials on undocumented migrants smuggled from the border. Her empire's foundation, blood and borders. She scanned it, lips curling. This is suicide.
Elena.
You'll destroy everything. You're everything, I corrected. Mine was gone the day you left me at that pump. Flashback clawed and then. Unbidden, the gas station's buzz. Earl's yellowed teeth as he offered a warm Coke. The cops' radios crackling with possible runaway. I'd sat on the curb. Mister. Whiskers damp with tears. Inventing stories. Maybe they circled back. Searching frantic.
But no.
They blamed me on the news clip I saw later. Local TV. Parents say daughter's shyness led to mix-up. Comments flooded in. Tough love needed. Kids today. No grit. Controversy brewed. But they spun it. Fundraiser for shy child awareness. Mom keynoting on empowering the quiet. I became their martyr. Their brand.
She signed.
Pen scratching like nails on chalkboard. But her eyes, my eyes, gleamed with that mummer's craft.
There.
Happy. I nodded. But unease prickled. Too easy. We dosed the stabilizers, bitter drip under tongues, and waited, bodies sinking in uneasy harmony. Hours blurred, bored calls I fielded in her clipped tone, deflecting queries about the seminar glitch. By dusk, the swap stabilized. I felt anchors bedding in, her memories flickering like bad reception, Voss's cologne. Dad's death rattle, staged, but real enough. The gas station call. We did check.
Elena.
But you were so small, so silent.
Lies.
But one memory stuck. Sharp as shattered glass, the real reason for the abandonment. Not shyness. At 4. When they adopted me, I'd seen something. Dad's early experiments. A neighbor kid wired to a prototype. Convulsing till flatline. Accident, they called it. But I babbled to CPS. They hushed it. But the seed of doubt grew. The gas station was erasure. Leave the witness. Blame the quiet. I'd borne it all, their crime. Their silence, while they built empires on buried truths. Night fell. City lights winking like conspirators. She poured scotch, top shelf. Voss's favorite, and toasted. To family, I clinked, sipping deep, but tasted the setup, her slight, dosing my glass with something extra. Echo variant, partial revert. My vision swam, her face blurring into mine. You think I'd let a stray pup take the pack, she sneered. Voice mine. Triumphant. Blackness edged in, but not before I palmed the disruptor vial, crushing it in my fist. Game on. Lydia. Your move. We tumbled again, this time with venom, her in my body. Feral, me and hers, fueled by decades of rust. Fists flew. Glass shattered. The office a war zone of splintered teak and spilled Macallan. She landed a haymaker, my own right hook. Damn her muscle memory, and I tasted copper. Her blood or mine.
Didn't matter.
I drove a knee into her gut, winded her, and pinned her to the desk. Disruptor shard at her throat. Confess now, I gasped, or I and the vessel. Her laugh bubbled. Defiant. Kill me. You kill yourself. We're linked.
Truth.
In a way, the swap's tether. Neural echo. But I called her bluff. Then we both burn. Sirens wailed distant security, triggered by the chaos. Time ticked. She buckled, whispering the code to broadcast the confession. Live feed to the board.
Sick.
Every news outlet from CNN to Fox. I hit enter. Her empire crumbling in pixels. Feeds lit up. Hailtech CEO admits murder. Fraud. Stocks tanked. Headlines screamed. Controversy exploded. Hail swap trending. Talking heads debating ethics of designer death. Migrants' ghosts haunting op-eds. She slumped, defeated, my body going slack. It's over. But as the tether hummed, pulling us toward revert, I felt it, the twist, the reversal. Her memory, bleeding through, not just Voss.
Dad.
She'd swapped him too, years back, into an intern's body. But it failed, leaving him vegetative. The accident? Her mercy kill. To hide the failure. And me, not the victim. The spare. Voss wasn't her lover. He was my father, bio dad. The affair's fruit. Killed to sever ties. I'd borne his crime unknowingly. The quiet witness to their original sin. Rage crested. Pure Ohio thunder. I didn't revert. I dosed us both, full disrupt.
Permanent.
Her scream from my lips as consciousness frayed. Tether snapping. She faded, a ghost in my shell, while I solidified in hers, Lydia Hale. Unmoored. Alone. Dawn broke over Phoenix like a hangover, scorching, unforgiving. The city stirring with the buzz of scandal. I stood at the office window, Lydia's silk robe loose on this borrowed frame, watching cop cars swarm the lot below. Alerts pinged on her, my phone, FBI en route, bored in meltdown. Twitter ablaze with "Is Lydia Hale a body-snatching psycho?" Memes of me, her, swapping heads with celebrities. Think pieces on biotech ethics. MAGA uncles ranting about globalist mind control. Controversy was oxygen now. I breathed it deep. The quiet girl finally heard. But victory tasted like ash. The tether snap left echoes, her phobias bleeding into me. Fear of small spaces, gas station bathrooms. Aversion to bourbon, Voss's vice. And worse, my own doubts. Whispering. Was I her now?
Anna.
Or the monster she'd birthed? I dressed in her walk-in. Power suit. Pearls. Heels that clicked like judgment. Downstairs. Chaos reigned, techs fleeing. Lawyers circling like vultures. MS.
Hale.
A young suit. Trembling. Thrust a tablet. The confession, it's viral. What do we do? I fixed him with her ice stare. Damage control. Bury the labs. Leak the competitor's dirt. He nodded, scurrying off. Power was a drug, heady as the swap's afterglow. She, the remnant in my body, was zip-tied and holding, sedated but snarling when I visited. You bitch, she spat from my lips, eyes wild. You think this ends me? I've got backups, offshore swaps. Loyalists. I leaned close, breath mingling. Ends us.
Mom.
But I'll wear you better. Interrogation was a farce. Cops bought the corporate espionage spin. Me as victim Lydia. Her as deranged Elena the stalker. Psych eval pending. But with Hale Tech as lawyers? She'd rot in Supermax. My shell wasting on psychotropics. I flew private to DC that afternoon, her jet, stocked with caviar and chambertin, touching down as the hill erupted. Senators eyed, she'd bought demanded hearings, protesters clogged them all. Signs reading swap the elite, and my body, my soul. I testified in pearls and pencil skirt, voice steady. A rogue element exploited our tech. But Hale Tech innovates for America, cures, not curses. Flashbulbs popped, applause thundered. Behind closed doors, I greenlit purges, Voss's files digitized and doxed to whistleblower sites. implicating rivals and worse, human trials on Afghan refugees. Swaps for oligarchs dodging sanctions. The web widened. Hail Tech the spider at center. Me pulling strings. Nights blurred into bourbon hazes and anonymous hookups, her Rolodex full of power players. Men who saw Lydia as conquest. I play the part. Coy laughs. Strategic moans. Waking alone with echoes of Elena's loneliness. But revenge sharpened. The gas station loomed in dreams, not abandonment, but inception. Voss, my bio dad, had warned them. Post-affair, the kid sees too much. They'd tested me there. Silent vigil to gauge silence. I bore his murder's shadow. The mistake of bloodlines. Framed as their adopted failure. By week 2, the controversial decisions piled like cordwood. First, shutter Echo publicly. Ethical pivot to therapeutic neural aids. Privately, black market boom. Me funneling swaps to anti-elite vigilantes, swap a cartel boss into a mule's body. Watch him mule himself. Karma. American style. Second, the board purge. 5 holdouts, old Voss allies, found themselves reassigned, consciousnesses fragmented in beta tests, bodies donated to science. Mercy or madness? Pundits debated. Hale's justice or Hale's terror? Fox called me patriot innovator, MSNBC. Fascist Frankensteiner. Third, the deepest cut, family. I tracked our relatives, the Hale's sterile network of cousins and aunts, all complicit in the adoption charade. Aunt Marjorie, the enabler who'd notarized the papers hiding Voss's paternity. I invited her to reconciliation brunch in Napa, her face lighting at Lydia's olive branch. Over heirloom tomatoes, I dosed her mimosa, mild swap, partial. She woke in her chauffeur's skin, mid-50s and paunchy, while he blinked from her septuagenarian frame. Trade places.
Ensma, Ipua.
Feel the help for once. She bargained, confessed notarized lies. Then I reverted lesson learned.
No permanence car. Yet.
Tension coiled tighter. A spring in Tornado Alley. She imprisoned Elena, slipped a message through a guard. I know the reversal. You're not Elena. You're me. Bullshit. Or probe. The tether's ghost let fragments cross. Her guilt. My fury. Blurring lines. Paranoia bloomed. I hired shadows, XSLS for personal security, vetting everyone. Sleepless in her Georgetown brownstone, I pored over Echo archives, hunting the full truth. Buried in a firewalled drive, the original contingency. Not just frame me for embezzlement. Sacrifice. Echo's first human trial, donor consciousness overwritten completely.
No tether. Me.
At 18, wired during therapy for shyness. They'd planned to erase Elena. Upload Lydia if dad's health tanked, cancer. Hidden from all. But Voss intervened, loved her. Loved me, sabotaging the code. Forcing partials only. That's why they killed him. Not a fair cover. But to reclaim purity. I bore the mistake, the near erasure, while they chiseled away at my edges. The gas station the first chip. Rage? It metastasized. Dark and debatable. Was revenge justice? Or just another overwrite? Climax brewed in Cleveland. Full circle. Hail Tekka's annual gala. Black tie at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Lakefront glittering under chandeliers. I arrived as Lydia triumphant. Emerald gown. Diamonds from Voss's vault. Arm candy as senator's son. Protesters outside. Hail kills. Chants rhythmic as heartbeats. Inside. Champagne flutes and schmoozes. Deals whispered over foie gras. Then, the announcement. Lydia Hale. Visionary of the Year. Applause swelled. I ascended the stage. Mic in hand, ready to torch it all. But she was there, escaped. Or sprung. My body. Gaunt from jail slop. Tuxedo ill-fit. Slipping through VIPs like smoke.
How?
Bribed guard. Neural hack? Didn't matter. She cornered me backstage. Breath hot. End this. Lydia. Revert us. Her eyes, mine, pleaded. But I saw the ploy, full disrupt in her pocket. Sourced from a loyalist. We grappled amid velvet curtains. Gowns ripping. Guests oblivious to the symphony. You're the defective one, I snarled.
Her voice a whip. Kvie til provoker.
She swung. I dodged. Heels snapping her wrist. The vial shattered. Hers. Not mine. Neural fire racing through us both. Tether reignited. Brutal. Memories flooded. The gas station call. Real this time. Dad circling back. But Mom insisting, let her learn. Voss's last words. Protect Elena. She's the future. Not our escape. And the reversal. I wasn't the victim. The swap. I'd initiated it. Subconscious neural trigger from years of self-hacks. Pulling her in during the seminar confrontation. Elena's quiet wasn't weakness. It was weapon. Silent observer. Biding time. But enforcing the permanent. I'd trapped us both. Hybrid now. Elena Lydia. Vengeful chimera. Cops burst in, protesters tipped them. Cuffs clicking. Gala erupted. Flashes. Screams. Hails double. I laughed. Manic. As they hauled me away. Controversial? Hell yes, twin bodies. One mind? Tabloids feasted. Schizo swap or deep fake? But the truth reversed. Not betrayal's pawn. But architect. I'd borne their sins to become them. Revenge a mirror maze. The fallout was biblical. Hailtech's stock cratered like the Grand Canyon. SEC raids turning vaults to confetti. Headlines screaming, body snatch scandal. Is consciousness copyrighted? I lawyered up in Lydia's war chest. Countersuing feds for neural privacy invasion. Spinning victim again. Grieving widow targeted by eco-terrorists. Pundits picked sides. Progressives decrying corporate cannibalism. Conservatives hailing innovation under siege. Debates raged on Joe Rogan. Alex Jones foaming about deep state soul theft.
Me?
I vanished into witness protection light, new identity.
Elena Vos reborn.
But, in her shell, wrinkles be damned. Plastic surgery in Tijuana clinics. Voice training to shed the lilt. Quiet again, but loaded. She rotted in ADX Florence. Supermax hellhole in Colorado's ass end, my body. Her prison. Visits?
Denied.
But I watched feeds. Elena Hale, gaunt and ranting, claiming swap delusions. Psych reports leaked. Dissociative identity. Treatable. I sent letters and signed. Taunting. Speak up.
Mom.
The world's listening. No reply. But I imagine her whispers echoing cell walls. The irony of bomb. Revenge's aftertaste? Bitter. Debatable. I'd toppled an empire. Exposed sins. Voss's murder splashed across 60 minutes. Migrant stories going viral. Sparking lawsuits that bled Hailtech dry. Justice? For the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
For me, the gas station scar itched eternal, not just abandonment. But the moment I learned volume wasn't voice, survival was. Controversial calls haunted, the purges, the swaps on holdouts. Mercy kills or necessary.
Forum liup, eles aero.
Culling the corrupt.
Non.
Vigilante virus. I read them all. Incognito. Popcorn in hand. Twists, reversals settled uneasy. I wasn't the betrayed blank. I was the blade. Forged in their fire. Voss's blood ran true, his hacks in my code. The subconscious pull that started the swap. Elena the Quiet?
Cover.
I'd been plotting since the printouts. Self-medicating with neural tweaks. Building the disruptor in basements from Seattle to Austin. The seminar? Bait I swallowed whole. They left me at the pump to toughen the vessel. Instead, they birthed a wolf in girls' clothing. Years trickled 5. To be precise, me and a Reno rancher, coding open-source anti-swap firewalls for hackers' collectives. No attachment still. Lovers fled my intensity. Friends ghosted the paranoia. But one pilgrimage, back to that Exxon. Now a shell. Pumps updated, but the lot's same cracked concrete. I stood there at dusk. Mr. Whiskers long buried, feeling the echo alone. But chosen. Earl was gone. Cancer, his replacement, a bored millennial, asked if I needed gas. No, I said.
Loud. Clear.
Just remembering. Ending? Pick your poison. Happy. I dismantle Hailteka's remnants. Funneled billions to victim funds. Became shadow philanthropist Elena Voss. Biotech whistleblower. Keynoting TED on Souls in a Machine. Tragic. The hybrid frayed. Tether ghosts driving me mad. Ending in a Colorado visit. Disruptor slipped to her cell. Mutual exit in swapped silence. Debatable, both. Or neither. Was revenge redemption? Or just louder abandonment? You tell me.
Reader.
The quiet girl speaking now, volume up. Consequences be damned. But last Tuesday? That was the capstone. Parole hearing for Elena, compassion release for good behavior. I pulled strings, old loyalists. Grudging got her out. Drove her to the ranch. Face to face, my body.
Hollowed.
Versus hers. Rejuvenated by time and spite. Revert, she asked. Voice mine.
Soft.
I poured scotch, hers. Voss's. Too late. We're us. We talked then. Real. Gas station guilt, hers. Fleeting. Voss love, shared. Twisted. The crime I bore, our inheritance. No hands around throats. Just mirrors. Cracking. She stayed a week. Awkward truce. Cooking tacos, my recipe. Watching Rust Belt sunsets. Then. Dawn departure. I'll fix it. Elena. Find a way. Lies? Maybe. But as her taillights faded, not abandonment, but release, I felt it, the hook closing. I'd swapped not just bodies, but burdens. Mom. Daughter. Monster. Victim, overwritten, but legible. And if the world calls it controversy?
Leching arg.
In America, that's the real swap. Silence for screams. Secrets for spotlights. I won. Or lost. Your call.